Considered a showman of football, he revolutionized the way to play the sport, and one of the most skillful players of all time. Today, in our episode of The Hero's Journey, we will tell the story of Ronaldinho Gaucho, the field juggler who created the concept of art football. You've probably already heard the stories of many players who fought hard for years, dedicated themselves in training, and with a lot of discipline and focus managed to conquer their space in football. They were marked by their grit, determination, and sweat poured day after day until the glory came. But curiously, Ronaldinho is one of those players who charmed the world in a very different way. Even though he was a high-level athlete and an excellent professional, our hero has always been remembered for his joy with the ball at his feet. The smile is the player's trademark. He played with such happiness that he seemed to always be having fun on the field and enjoying a good time with friends. Ronaldinho knew how to bring the spectacle inside the four lines and prove that football could be competitive even without losing its entertainment. He was that player who made the price of tickets worthwhile. His brilliant plays and baffling dribbles were unprecedented for fans and lovers of the sport. Despite all this joy and charisma, we must recognize the battles Ronaldinho had to overcome to reach the top of the world ranking and win the award for the best player in the world in 2005. Going back a bit to his childhood, Ronaldinho earned the name Gaúcho because he was born in Rio Grande do Sul, a state in the south of Brazil, and those born in this state are called Gaúchos. Ronaldinho's childhood was marked by both social difficulties and personal tragedies. His family lived in a challenging financial situation, a common reality for many future Brazilian talents who come from underprivileged communities. A particularly traumatic event in Ronaldinho's life was the early death of his father. When Ronaldinho was just 8 years old, his father died of a heart attack. Despite these adversities, Ronaldinho found in football a way and a form of expression, being strongly supported by his mother and his older brother. From a young age, even on the futsal courts, Ronaldinho already caught the attention for his gift with the ball. The slender boy was already able to pull some rabbits out of the hat and score goals that even surprised the coaches of opposing teams. His thin and fast legs were capable of making dribbles difficult to defend, and they drew praise from everyone. This talent, well above average for his age, led him to be selected for the youth categories of Grêmio, one of the most traditional teams in Brazil, and which belonged to the same state of the star. With more structure and resources offered by the new club, Ronaldinho was standing out on the fields and rapidly developing his skill, becoming known even in the youth categories. That's how in 1998, at only 18 years old, he debuted for Grêmio's professional team and went from being a great promise to becoming a concrete reality. In particular, in a regional classic against his biggest rival, Internacional, Ronaldinho took responsibility upon himself and performed wonderful plays that were marked in the programs of the time and were one of the most famous episodes of the beginning of his career. The boy's boldness made him have the courage to perform some humiliating dribbles on the captain of the opposing team, which became a subject of mockery for decades. In that game, Ronaldinho performed a famous dribble on Dunga, who was at the time the captain of Internacional and already a renowned figure in world's football. With only 19 years old, Ronaldinho was already responsible for the main offensive plays of his team and soon became one of the protagonists of the squad, even with such a short time among the professionals. During this period with his career in full ascent, Ronaldinho started to be managed by his older brother, Roberto Jassis. Both had a strong emotional connection, as his older brother had taken the role of the man of the house shortly after their father's death. This mutual respect and admiration allowed them to build a good professional and family relationship. In 2001, after 3 seasons playing for Grêmio, Roberto considered it was time for Ronaldinho to aim higher, and after evaluating some international proposals, he asked his brother if he would like to travel to France and play for the famous Paris Saint-Germain. Ronaldinho accepted the challenge and brought his irreverent style of play to the European fields. During this same period, he collected appearances for the Brazilian national team, and his name was already being widely spread in the world of football. After 2 seasons playing 77 games, scoring 17 goals, and achieving good positions in the National League for his French club, Ronaldinho received the greatest opportunity of his life: to play for Barcelona. This was probably the most important decision of his career and symbolized the beginning of a golden era in sports. Between the years of 2003 and 2008, Ronaldinho, along with big names like Eto'o, Henry, Deco, and later Messi, were responsible for consolidating a greater hegemony in the sport. Barcelona at that time won big matches against the all-powerful Galacticos, as the Real Madrid team was known, which had the biggest stars in the world. Ronaldinho simply led his less celebrated team and won many important awards, such as the Champions League in 2006, as well as expressing all his genius in the classics against his biggest rival. It's no wonder that in one of these classics, Ronaldinho scored 2 beautiful goals and charmed the Madrid crowd to the point of receiving applause for his unforgettable performance. Do you realize what it is to play at the Santiago Bernabéu, home of your team's biggest rival, score 2 goals there, and receive recognition from the fans of the other team? This was something completely unprecedented in the history of football, and a memory that will always be part of Ronaldinho Gaucho's victorious history. It was precisely during this spectacular period, more specifically between 2004 and 2005, that Ronaldinho unanimously received the FIFA Ballon d'Or for the best player of the season. But before that, in 2002, Ronaldinho had also been a 5-time World Cup champion for the Brazilian national team, and one of the biggest names on that team alongside his partner, Ronaldo Fenômeno and Rivaldo. Ronaldinho revolutionized football by bringing more than technique. He brought a fun, light, and enjoyable side that enriched the spectacle and made the sport a live work of art. It was enjoyable to watch the star play with the ball and find creative solutions to outsmart his opponents and leave his teammates in front of the goal. The wide smile, the dance, the childlike manner marked a generation of fans who were able to follow his evolution year after year until reaching the peak of his career. Many say that Ronaldinho was responsible for preparing the ground and passing the baton so that a new genius could enter the scene: Lionel Messi. Indeed, the Argentine himself has declared many times in interviews that thanks to Ronaldinho, he had a quicker adaptation during the transition between junior and professional, as Ronaldinho made sure to give him all the support and introduce him to the other players, since Messi was very shy and quiet in the locker room. Also, as the more experienced player, Ronaldinho also played a kind of mentor role for him in difficult times. On the field, the synergy between these two stars was magnificent, and many plays were eternally remembered in history to our delight. After 5 years at Barcelona, he won 7 titles, playing 207 games and scoring 94 goals. These historical marks, coupled with scenes worthy of an Oscar through his moves, mark Ronaldinho's name as one of the greatest players of all time. Unfortunately, Ronaldinho's peak at Barcelona did not last as long as many expected. Starting in 2008, he began to face a decline in performance, partly attributed to his physical conditioning and focus. Ronaldinho was also known for his festive, musical, and very social lifestyle, which often attracted criticism from coaches and the press. Maintaining a balance between his lifestyle and the demands of a high-level professional football was a constant challenge in his career, especially later, during his time at Milan, Flamengo, and Fluminense. Finally, to conclude, we can affirm that Ronaldinho Gaucho was one of the most charismatic and influential figures in the world of football, not only for his unparalleled skill on the field, but also for his impact off of it. His influence really went beyond the limits of the sport, touching on social and cultural aspects worldwide. One of the notable moments that highlight Ronaldinho's influence beyond the football field was the friendly match between Brazil and Haiti in 2004, known as the Game of Peace. Brazil, with Ronaldinho and other great names, traveled to Haiti to play a match with the aim of promoting peace in a country then devastated by political instability and violence. This event stopped the country and attracted a crowd of fans who revered the star. Off the field, Ronaldinho also engaged in various philanthropic activities. He participates to this day in charity matches and campaigns, helping to raise funds for needy children, schools, or disadvantaged communities. The Ronaldinho Gaucho Foundation, started by his family, is also focused on promoting sport and education among vulnerable youth in Brazil. Through these social activities, Ronaldinho not only used his fame to draw attention to important causes, but also inspired many inside and outside of sports to contribute to the well-being and development of communities around the world. His contagious joy and positive approach to life resonated far beyond football fields, showing how an athlete can positively influence society in various ways. But what about you? What episode of Ronaldinho's career do you remember positively? If you like this content, we kindly ask you to leave a like so that this video reaches more people. And if you like inspiring content that portrays the journey of ordinary people who became real-life heroes, subscribe to our channel to receive our next episodes of the hero's journey. Today we end here. Until next time.